What's up, Saber guys and gals? This is going to be my last demo video of 2024. I recently put up a post asking if you guys preferred the overhead demos that I've switched to over this past year or the old school, like where I'm just sitting here in front of the camera showing off the Sabers, and it was like 60% preferred the overhead view on my table that I've been doing. So I'm gonna keep going that route in 2025, but I am going to end the year doing one the old school way with me just sitting in front of the camera and showing this off. This is the NullRev by my buddy Tim over at Tierfon Orbital. He sent me this as a surprise for Christmas. I got it Christmas Eve. I've been sitting on it for a few days, playing with it, just deciding what I was going to say, and I still turned on the camera this morning. Not sure exactly what I was going to say about this, although, you know, just to say that I'm super appreciative of Tim. Stoked to have this saber. This is probably one of the my favorite custom sabers that I've seen out in the hobby. Meant to be a Corran horn, and it looks just like one. And we're going to have those old focus problems that I used to have, but here we go. We're now focused on the saber. It's got some vintage parts, like this red button right here. This red switch is from a Canon Y. Some other vintage parts. I'm not exactly sure where all these pieces come from. This is a Graflex handle here that has been sanded down to the brass. It is a 2-button setup, so power being here. There's a dome tactile switch right here for auxiliary. There's a very cool kill switch right here. You can see that LED back here that we'll go over here in a second. But before we go over this saber, I just want to talk about Tim a little bit. So, you know, Tim and I have become really good friends over the past year. We've got a small group of friends. We've got a few groups of friends, actually. I mean, we've got one for everyone that goes on the saber trip. All of those guys are very good friends of mine. We've got a group, you know, me, Tim, Albert, and Benji. We're all really good friends, but I've gotten to know Tim over the past 2 years or so. We had a rocky start because he used to make fun of the motors that I used to put in my master chassis that made a lot of noise, and that was my first impression of Tim, was talking crap about my motors. And then you know, we got over that. He reached out to me, and I took great pleasure in making fun of the noise that his motor made when he used one the next time. So that was you know, it's all been a funny experience. But jokes aside, we have become really good friends. I talk to most all of those guys daily in the community, so we're not just saber friends, but we've had several different meetups, 2 saber trips for most of those guys. You know, for others I've had going on my 4th, I think. But just this year alone, we've had the saber trip that we got to hang out with each other for about a week, and then we had, when we went down to Texas to see Albert and all those guys, we hung out. We got to meet up with Cole and Sir PB as well at a comic convention. So all of that has been really cool, but particularly Tim, you know, him and I have become really good friends over the past year. We've got a run coming out together that we've been working on. We work closely on other things. He's taught me some things that I have incorporated into my saber business. Hopefully something that I have accidentally passed on to him that he's learned from me. I mean, I hope, right? So, because I'd like to repay that somehow, and I don't know how to repay knowledge. So hopefully I've been able to do that for him. But anyways, I had just mentioned to him one time when I first saw him do one of these, I was just like, man, that is so cool. I have got to get one of those someday. And I just let it go. And he sent me one. So this is the 3rd item from Tim that I've gotten. I've got this. He did an install on my Star Killer for me, and then he also did an install on a KR Sabers Acolyte saber, and I have demo videos of all of those sabers up on my channel. So wanted to do this one before the year went out. There's just so many cool features, like this piece right here. It was killing me trying to find out where he got this. I didn't want to ask him because I thought it was rude. So I spent a lot of time trying to research it. I couldn't find it, and then eventually he was gracious enough to put a video up on his Instagram on how he actually custom makes those. So it made sense now that I couldn't find it, right? But yeah, you've got that. You've got this kill switch that I never see on a saber, which is really cool. If you look at the small details here, it does say Corellia here on the switch box right there. We've got some Arabesh coming down on this piece right here. If you look closely on the tip of this piece right here, you can almost see it right there. I'm having some trouble focusing on it, but it's a Jedi symbol right there in red. There's a red LED over here when you turn it on. It takes a 1-inch blade, so we've got a lit PCB connector there. You take off the handle. This has a speaker pod in it, and the speaker pod also controls the LED in the handle. So that is a piece that never comes out there. Coming over here and taking the battery out, we've got one of his signature Greebly chassis. Profi in there. Easy access to the SD card and the micro USB. So I've always respected Tim's work, and I've just continued to respect how much he's grown. He came into this hobby after I did. One of the first interactions he and I ever had was he bought a chassis from me when I didn't even know who he was. And he was so new at that time, I believe he bought a chassis for a Saber that he had that didn't even go to that Saber. And since then, the dude's just blown up. I mean, his skill set's blown up. He's very well known in this hobby for having nice quality work, very affordable work, and I just look up to the guy as a friend and as just a fellow Saber colleague, right? So very special piece to me. Came from a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, and this will forever stay in my collection. All right, so I'm not going to mess ever with any of the fonts. There is one font on here that is quite interesting. It's a Christmas font that I've never heard of. I don't know who makes it. I don't know if he made it, but it is very interesting, and it sounds like it came from the old claymation Rudolph, which is something that we typically watch around here every year since I was a kid, although we didn't watch it this year. But that's what it sounds like, so we're going to flip through it. There's a blade retention right here. It's just a knurled thumb screw, so you don't need any tools. All right, put my 1-inch blade in here. Lock it down, come over here and flip the kill switch. And now you've got that LED on the pommel, which is super cool. Super cool. Power. I don't know what size speaker is in here, but it sounds really good. I would be very surprised if it wasn't a 28mm speaker. I didn't ask him because I'm not going to ask the specs of a gift that he sent me. But that sounds like a 28mm speaker. And if it's not, if it's a smaller one, then whatever he did for sound resonance, he nailed it because it sounds very, very good. It probably just won't pick up on my cheaper microphone. This is a J DeLorean font. Also very sick.
Welcome to the bill.
Full fire blade. It's a solid saber. I mean, you can swing this around no problem.
Now this is pod racing.
This is a classic. Crate Slayer classic. K-Sith font. from Kasith and Benji over at Nerfer. Also, very dope font. All of these are sick.
You're in fire.
During fire.
Master Soul.
Master Soul. Dissonance. Last one I believe was Kyberphonic. This one's Kasith.
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon. I'm Luke Skywalker.
Classic. This sounds like LS6 from Kasith.
I felt a great disturbance in the Force. Lord Vader.
Christmas!
Here we are.
Merry Christmas!
This is not off, and you're going to lead my team.
Definitely the Rudolph claymation.
Merry Christmas!
Bye, bye, bye. And then the kill switch. Kills power just like it should, right? So this is an amazing saber. I just want to take a moment to show it off. Do my last demo of the year being on a saber that's mine. That was a gift to me from a really good friend of mine. Talk about him a little bit. Very excited to see what the new year brings for him and his skill set, what it brings to us, you know, as a group of friends, see what we do, and then for the run that he and I are working on together too, and then maybe we do another one this year or this coming year if it makes sense. But I mean, in any case, you know, I'm very, very appreciative, very excited to get this, and this will always be a treasured part of my collection. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you for sitting through all of my demos in 2024. This was probably, I made over 300 videos this year, some of them being lives of me just playing on my PlayStation. Some of them, you know, playing by myself, some of them playing with my friends, but most all of them had to do with lightsabers. And also thank you to the one guy who has probably been my biggest fan of the year. I can always count on one guy who goes through and he does it within 24 hours of me loading up a video. He always thumbs down the video. So appreciate you. There was 2 times this year where it took you about a week to do it, and I almost felt bad because I thought something was wrong with you, and I was hoping you were okay, but then you popped back and we're all good to go, and we got on with our year. So keep doing what you're doing, and everybody who watches it and makes it this far in the video, thank you very much for supporting my channel. Thank you, Tim, for this NullRev. It is kick-ass, and we will see you guys next year.